purpose is to take a look at the current regulations, livestock regulations, and see what changes, adjustments, et cetera, might be needed. They've been looked at from time to time, but not a thorough examination. The end of last year, the Board of Health decided that they wanted it to be done. They put out a call to citizens. They had many citizens apply for it, and the committee has been formed. We've got a lot of knowledgeable people on the committee, broad-based. It's a good group, and we're going through the bylaw, the regulations, line by line, section by section. We're also looking at the right to farm bylaw and how that pertains, and making sure everything conforms. We're making some recommendations. Nothing is etched in stone yet, but we're finding anything from typos to things that need to be separated, additional areas, what makes sense, what doesn't. But the purpose is we just to review it, and we want to encourage and promote people to have livestock, but using in generally accepted practices, doing it the right way. How many animals can you have on a given size lot? For example, one regulation, and I don't want to get into all the details because nothing is etched in stone, but one that stood out is the current regulations say that you have by right to stockpile 10 cubic yards of manure. Now, if you have 20 acres, that's fine. Yeah. What if you have 10,000 square feet? Then it creates problems with neighbors. Pigs, we had somebody show up at our meeting, and they had some concern about pigs. So we're kind of looking at that and what makes sense. We're going to ask some farmers from the area or from outside the area and talk to them about it. But we're not here to stop the use of livestock. We want to encourage it. We think everybody has a right to it. Pembroke is a right to farm community. We just want to make sure it's done so it makes sense to the person that has the livestock, as well as the neighbors.
There's a few issues. There's noise, there's smell, and what else is there?
There's noise and there's smell. That's pretty much it. You know, the roosters, I did not attend any of the rooster hearings, but I guess that was quite a large hearing. And we're going to look at roosters as well. And we're not biased in any one way, just encourage people to have livestock. They have a right to it. The town has always said, we moved to this community because it was a rural community. They liked it. But we've lost horse farms. We've lost other farms. So how do we make sure that everybody works together and in harmony? And that's basically the purpose.
Okay. So where's your committee at right now? They formed in this,
We've had, maybe 4 or 5 meetings. We meet on Thursday nights. We go from 6 to 8. We're being efficient. We're not dragging it out. And around 8, if we have a little more to do, and we're just moving on. And there's no timeline to get this done, but we think by the end of the summer we'll have a full report for the Board of Health. Then it will be up to the Board of Health to decide the final analysis, what they'd like to see changed.
So that will come down to the next town meeting after you...
Well, it won't be a town meeting. It's just the Board of Health regulations, their regulations. And we want to make sure that everything conforms to the state regulations. And also we want to make sure that the public knows what some of these regulations are and how it pertains to them. For a small example is selling of eggs. Well, you fill out the application for each year for having livestock. But if you want to sell eggs, there is a section in the livestock regulations that your chickens need to be tested and so on. But somebody may miss that, and we want to see that notice put on an application so people are aware of things. In the regulations, we want to provide a section of resources for people to go to for various situations and topics and so on, whether it be how to be a better farmer or whatever. So we're going from top to bottom, inside out, and we've got a great group, a lot of knowledgeable people, getting a lot of good discussions, and very little, no dissension at all. Everybody is, I think, getting along well, which is nice, and we're moving it along little by little. We will be having an open forum, and I hope that the public that has some concerns will express their thoughts. I'd like to just read it. Okay. The Pembroke Livestock Regulations Review Study Committee will be holding an open forum on March 12th at 6:30 p.m. at Pembroke Town Hall. The purpose of the forum is to listen to the Pembroke community about their ideas, thoughts, and concerns relating to livestock regulations. The Pembroke Board of Health formed this committee in order to see what changes to livestock regulations might be needed or adjusted. Pembroke is a right-to-farm community. Another little thing we realized is under the right-to-farm bylaw, we should have some signs. Look at towns that are signs at each border saying we're a right-to-farm community. So if somebody moves to this town, they know that it's a right-to-farm community, which most people think is good. Some people may, think, well, I don't want any animals at all near me. So let's do the way we should be doing it according to the bylaws.
We're a right-to-farm community, but what exactly does that mean?
It means that you have certain inalienable rights, and one is to have your own livestock and have a procedure where you have certain laws and so on. But on the other hand, it's your right, and you shouldn't be harassed or have those rights taken away from you. And that's the best I can tell you right now off the top of my head.
All right. So there's some friction there because people might have properties that are so small and they have to manage that with their neighbors.
Yeah, and we're looking at that. We realize that in all due respect to somebody who has a lot of land, a little land, and so on, that if you live on a 5,000 or 10,000 square foot parcel of land, which exists in many places in this town, you can't have 3 pigs. You can't have a cow. Well, that's addressed the cows. But so we're looking at sidelines, square footage, what type of animals you can have on certain size lots. I mean, you can't have a horse on 5,000 square feet. On the other hand, we're looking at an appeal process and a little more detail on if somebody has a certain situation, what is the exact process for appealing something or getting a variance? A little more detail in that.
Well, I think that's all I have. Is there anything else you want to add?
No, we're trying to do a good job. We're not leaning in one way or the other of saying we want to shut livestock down or we want everybody to have it. It's just what is good, acceptable practices for having livestock, and how can we inform the public of what some of the rules and regulations are and how to do a better job or continue to do a good job.
Right.
Also, one of the issues is disease and making sure that disease isn't passed on to whatever based on situations that are not good.
What kind of ambulance diseases are there?
We have a veterinarian on our committee. That would be a better question for her. Yeah. But there are bird diseases. There's, rabies. What animals need to be vaccinated. We found out that certain shots are only given in combination. So you say, well, you need just a rabies, but you can't get just the rabies. There's certain animals that give a rabies, 3 different diseases all at once. And letting the people know that.
Okay. Good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.